I need to push back on your list though. I like Urasek, as everyone knows, and I've talked about. But how can you not have Mitchell Evans at number 2? He played in only 7 games last year, Blake, and in those 7 games,
and why did he only play in 7 games?
Because he got hurt.
Okay, there you go.
He had 400. Urasek only played in 6 because he got hurt. Urasek had 400 yards and 29 receptions and a touchdown. If he finished the season, he would have been one of the most productive tight ends in the country.
Different situation, and you know it's a different situation with Urasek and Mitchell Evans.
They couldn't throw the ball. He was the only guy that they had to throw to. And the second that he went down with an injury, their offense took a huge step back.
Who are you talking about?
Notre Dame.
Oh, so he was the only guy that they could throw to. That's very interesting.
Don't distract from the conversation. Obviously, you were correct that they didn't.
Now, we do have a super chat in here. Wicked Bronco Production says Evans is clearly one. He had some of the best catches in college football last season. Before he got injured, he looked like Michael Mayer 2.0. Didn't the Raiders just draft Brock Bowers? Heath Evans over CLUV. Carson
of the guys that we're bringing up right now, in terms of production, he had 450 receiving yards last year. Colston Loveland had 649. Urasek had 239. Nesbitt had 585. And then Tyler Warren had 422. So he had as much production as all of the guys. No. I am just pointing out the fact that he played a little over half of a season, and he had the same amount of production as most of the guys that we're talking about right now. That to me shows significance. That shows to me importance of impact.
Okay. Cute.
He might be the most important player for their offense out of any of the guys that we're talking about.
Okay, well then you better have that production if you're getting the most targets in an offense.
Okay, this is one of the few times I'm going to sit here and say that you're being a little biased. Like, come on.
What am I being biased about?
There's no reason for him to be below Urasek. Urasek played the same amount of games as him and had 200 less yards. And Mitchell Evans is very well-rounded. He is a good blocker. He is a good receiver. He's got really strong hands. He was producing as much, if not more, than Michael Mayer.
Mitchell Evans, in my opinion, I'm not going to fight you on this. You want to put him at 2, put him at 2. But the reason I don't have him at 2 is for one reason. Because when there are teams, and I tell you this every week, and you get mad at me, when teams that historically are putting out a position group, historically very, very, very well, and they go in a portal. And then secondly, when that coach is Kirby, end of story. All benefit of the doubt goes out of the window when I know that the best tight end coach in the country goes and gets a kid from Stanford who doesn't have the production.
Wait, you're acting like I don't understand your logic here. You're acting like that Mitchell Evans isn't coming from they're the best program in the country in the history of college football at producing tight ends. Just the history of college football. I don't disagree.
And I started this entire segment by saying, I don't disagree with you. Put them wherever you want. But I do think that injuries do play a fact. And
you might not disagree with me, but I disagree with you. That's what I'm bringing up here. You shouldn't put him at 3.
Okay. We look at the kid at the one-handed catch that he had against Purdue. He had some really good catches. I also could pull up right here, which we would get just absolutely abused if we pulled this up. But Joe, here's something that I also see. I'm looking on Twitter, and I am looking at the final drive against Ohio State, and he's trying to do an outside zone, back-to-back plays, and gets obliterated in pass pro.
All right, now we're just being nitpicky here. Come on, dude.
Hold on one goddamn second.
You're pulling up one play. You're pulling up one play to prove that he's not.
There's a whole thread because somebody pulled up Ohio State's defense against Notre Dame in the all greens. Okay, and the kid's getting absolutely abused in pass pro. By the way, of any group that me and you are going to discuss when we talk about run game and we talk about pass pro, tight ends is the biggest thing.
Colston Loveland's not a better blocker than Mitchell Evans. Bryson Nesbitt sure as shit isn't a better blocker.
A better overall athlete, and you know that.
Urasek's not a better blocker than Mitchell Evans. Mitchell Evans is the more well-rounded tight end, and he is the most impactful for their offense. Look, I like Yurosek. I don't think it's fair to bump down Mitchell Evans. I think it's wrong to push him down to 3. And I know that we're getting nitpicky here, but this is why we do this show, because we debate these things. He's the second best tight end in the country. He could arguably be number 1. I think that Wicked Bronco brings up a good point. He could be number 1.
You want to talk about bias?
He would have had. This is the only time that I've done this. I haven't put a single goddamn Notre Dame player on any of these fucking lists. I haven't put a single one.
Have them.
I could have put Chris Mitchell on receiver. I could have put Riley Leonard on quarterback.
No, you couldn't have.
Yes, I could have. Riley Leonard could have easily gone on quarterback.
Joe,
he was regarded to be a top 50 pick.
If my aunt had a penis, she would be my uncle. Stop with the what ifs, what could have been, and get back to reality.
I chose not to do these things because I try not to be biased. I try as hard as I can to not be biased. This is the one time that I don't care, and I'm going to pound the table for him. He was on pace to outproduce.
And I said, okay.
He was on pace for potentially a 900-yard, 1,000-yard season.
Being on pace and getting there is like saying
he got hurt. So did Benjamin Yurosek. Okay, Brent Kuth didn't even play last year, and he was on your list.
Okay, well, Kuth is a fucking dog, and you know that.
I didn't put him on mine because he didn't fucking play last year.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to tell you, and this is going to sting a little bit, but I can say because I love you and it doesn't go anywhere. We're just debating.
Yeah.
Stop saying the what ifs, because if this would have happened, if that would have happened, so many different things going to happen. So stop with the what ifs. And I told you from the very beginning, put him at 2. I'm looking at film where he's in the running game getting destroyed by Ohio State.
This is applicable. The what ifs are applicable because the guy you have ranked ahead of him played 1 less game than he did and had 200 yards less.
At a worse program that cannot feature him, and you know that. And I told you my reasoning, which was there are certain schools, certain coaches that I'm going to lean and give a benefit of the doubt to. Sorry, hold on. Marcus Freeman at any position has not given me that yet. By the way, who recruited Mitchell Evans? Who recruited him?
Brian Kelly. That has nothing to do with this. Okay. That has nothing to do with this.
So am I not supposed to weigh in that the best coach in college football, who utilizes a tight end just as much as Notre Dame, who, by the way, had a top 15 kid at tight end, am I not supposed to use that and say, well, if Kirby's going to utilize this, and I know he's going to be in this offense, and by the way, I know he's going to be their number 1 tight end, oh, well, Blake, what if he gets hurt? Again, what if my uncle chops his penis off and becomes my aunt? It doesn't matter. I give Kirby a lot of leeway here. And I told you in the very beginning, again, if you want to put him at 2, I'm not arguing with you on it.
We are arguing over it, though, because you're wanting to
argue.
Yes, because there's a right and a wrong in this circumstance.
Joe, here's the truth with the tight end group, which you're not going to like, okay? A big boob blonde walks into a bar, a big redhead with big boobs walks into the bar, and a brunette with big boobs walks in the bar. Pick one.
This isn't gonna go anywhere. We got it super chat. Thank you, Wicked Bronco, by the way.
What did he say? Also, a $20 super chat. Thank you, Wicked. Says also, I'll fight you on this one, Blake. Bowers isn't a better tight end than Mayer.
All right, that's just wrong. Right. Better receiving tight end Mayer's, but come on. And also to crack back at your point earlier, and I think that the real response to what you said instead of what Wicked said, because this is not true. Brock Bowers is a better tight end. Just because they took Bowers is not an indictment on Michael Mayer. It is
an indictment.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It is the circumstance of the fact that no one expected him to slide that far. Everyone thought he was going to be off the board. And it also was reported on today that They wanted to take Michael Penix. They were going to take Penix at 13. It was reported on today by Schefter that they were planning to take Penix, but he was taken by the Atlanta Falcons. So they sat there and they were in the situation of, okay, are we really going to just waste this opportunity to get one of the most gifted athletes? The NFL uses 2 tight ends all of the time. They're both going to get used. It's going to be Aaron Hernandez. He's Aaron Hernandez and Michael Mayer is Gronk. Now let's hope that certain aspects of Aaron Hernandez don't translate.
Now you've gone too far. Secondly,
that's the best tight end room in the NFL.
Said all weekend that tight end is a luxury position. Did you not?
I did. Okay.
With that being said, you're using that high of a luxury on Brock Bowers. Joe, I understand. I don't think Brock Bowers is as bad as inline blocking tight end as people give him credit.
No, he's a good blocker. He's a very good blocker.
However, Joe, here's the truth about a guy like Brock Bowers. He more than likely is going to be one of, if not the best receiving tight end, barring injury, that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Okay. The game is played with a dude like him. Today's game is played with a dude like him. Like, bottom line,
they're going to use both of them. Bowers goes for 1,000. Michael Mayer goes for 700.
You know, and I know that Bowers, when it comes to the receiving end, is going to get more targets than Mayer is. Stop.
Yeah, he will, but they're still both going to get used often. They're going to be on the field a lot together.
Okay. I don't hate Mitchell. See, here's the last thing I'll say. I don't hate Mitchell Evans. It's ironic that I have Mitchell Evans literally in my top 4. And you're wanting to fight over semantics.
Yeah, wait, I forgot. You didn't even have him at – you have him at 4. You had him at 4 over Brant. Okay, we can't – this is where you're losing me, man, because you started arguing with me over injury. Brant Kuth didn't play last year. I'm not putting a guy on a list that didn't play.
I don't care.
But you just knocked Mitchell Evans for not playing a full season. You brought that up when we were talking about him.
How many years does Kuth have at Utah? I
think he's been there for 3 or 4.
Okay.
No, 4.
So I have more than a 7-game projection size, correct? He's been more effective than what Mitchell Evans has been through 7 games.
He had one big year as the second tight end at you. Actually, no, he had 2 separate big years. He had 600 yards in 2019. 2021, he had 600 yards.
Can we get to the truth here? You have a guy that at a tight end position in Kuth that legitimately has more production than 7 games. Now, hold on. I'm going to give Evans his props here. Just so hold on. Is he probably at the end of this list going to be a higher and more draftable tight end? Yes. But you have a guy that at a number 2 tight end, legitimately, Joe, had 2 years of having 600 yards as you just stated.
Yeah, but correct? he also has an injury history where he's gotten banged up.
Okay, and times. Are you 1,000% sure that Mitchell Evans doesn't?
Well, because you said we can't use these what ifs. I have injury history with Brant Kuth.
No. That's not a what if. You could literally use the 7 games that he played and said, okay, well, in 7 games he got hurt. You're fighting over a semantic here Joe, you legitimately think about this for just a moment. You have a backup tight end having just the same amount of production as Mitchell Evans.
Kuth played a full season.
He was still a backup to a first-round pick.
BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number 1 source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.